Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about this week's TV news. That's not how I usually say this. This is our TV news show. We talk about pilots, we talk about series orders, that stuff is in development, casting, renewals, cancellations, all that kind of thing. We do this pretty much every week, and we kind of go through the news and generally faff about and talk about it with our really uninformed opinions. And Connor usually says something stupid, maybe drink some booze every time certain phrases come up.
It happens on a more regular basis than you might expect. Unless you expect on a daily basis, in which case, maybe slightly less regular.
Oh, pardon me.
Not by much, though.
So we will get straight into it then with an interesting renewal. Not a show we cover typically, but Search Party, if you remember what this is. This was TBS. The season one, at the very least, aired like all 7 episodes over 7 nights kind of thing.
Can't say I recall.
But we almost covered it and we didn't, just because it was really hard to fit in, because it was like I think
over 7 nights.
It was like two episodes per night or something like that. It was like 2 episodes over 5 nights, like each night.
This is quite a while ago now.
That was like 2-3 years ago. So the news here is that it's been renewed for season 4, but the interesting part of it is that the upcoming 3rd season, which is not aired yet, and season 4 of course as well, are actually moving to HBO Max. So it's leaving TBS and going to HBO Max. It's going to be a HBO Max original now. So I do wonder, like, would season 4, would it have gotten another renewal if it was staying in TBS? Or is this like, no, we've got a new home for it now. This has got a bit more of a cult following. Because I heard some good things about this. I think Tim even watched this and liked it. And
fair enough.
Tim doesn't watch a lot of TV, so yeah. So that's the thing. So good. So season 3 is launching around the debut of HBO Max in the spring of 2020. 2 years after it was originally ordered, so it's been a bit of a gap since season 2.
Yeah. But I guess at this point it's probably almost ready, if not completely ready, and they've just decided to hold it back.
Very possibly. So the critical darling, the dark comedy about a group of privileged, self-absorbed 20-somethings covering up a murder was never well suited for a network like TBS, according to Deadline.
I'm shocked.
So basically, maybe not season 3 because it happened after they shot that, perhaps, but season 4 is probably going to be darker and more gruesome and more swearing, perhaps. So that's a cool thing. And next up, there was a UK date for The End of the Effing World season 2, which I know got a lot of buzz. Some people were asking us to cover it soon after it launched a couple of years ago. People were into this. The kid from Shut Up and Dance was one of the main characters in this. So the UK date for this, when it launches on Channel 4, will be November 4th. So that's when that's coming. The Netflix date for everywhere else is TBA, but
likely sometime early after the end of the season.
So that's the thing, though. Apparently, the entire season is going up on all 4, the Channel 4 on demand soon after the first episode.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. I don't think Channel 4 usually does that.
That's what it says here. So it seems like they're playing with it. Maybe it's because Netflix are going to have it. Otherwise, maybe they're trying to match that system a little bit. Although I imagine probably still airing it weekly on the regular network.
They will do. They've got no reason not to for those people. But I mean, what this tells me is maybe it won't actually be till the end of the season that Netflix gets it. Maybe Netflix will get it after 3 or 4 weeks, and they're like, well, we can't have them put it up before we finished airing it, so we'll put it up online, so at least it's possible to watch it all if you wanted to before that Netflix launch. It's interesting.
Hey, so next up, Oscar nominee Clive Owen is going to star opposite Julianne Moore in Lizzie's Story. This is the Apple 8-hour limited series, written and executive produced by Stephen King from J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot. So there's a big bit of casting here. So that's Clive Owens and Julianne Moore in this. So pretty big cast.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
Lizzie's Story is a deeply personal thriller that follows Lizzie 2 years after the death of her husband. A series of events cause Lizzie to begin facing certain realities about her husband that she had repressed and forgotten. And Owen is going to play the husband, presumably with lots of flashbacks to who he is and what he was doing.
Was her name Lizzie?
Yes.
I feel like they said it so often in that sentence or paragraph. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. You mix it some pronouns here or there.
Yeah. Was it actually takes us on to the new shows? Actually, I think. A couple of comedies to talk about before we get to the dramas, but yeah, not a lot of fluff before then, bizarrely. But CBS, Chuck Lorre or Lore, whatever you say his name.
I think it's Laurie.
Laurie, Big Bang Theory dude, amongst other things. So he's our favourites, of course. But he's got a pilot production commitment, called The United States of Al. So that's coming to CBS.
I hate it already.
So The United States of Al is a comedy about the friendship between Riley, a Marine combat veteran struggling to readjust to civilian life in Ohio. A Marine named Riley?
No. Not that character. You are not allowed. There is a line.
Struggling to be a normal civilian after being a part of an elite military group.
There is a limit. And you cannot use utter shite as your link. Have some respect for your show.
I bet he's a bland character.
Have some respect.
He's going to be so bland. And all of his new girlfriend's friends are going to be like, man, he's so bland. Why is Buffy dating him now? Like, he's not as cool as Angel. If you remember, Riley Finn was a character on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And if you don't remember, that's fine because he was a shit, boring character.
Oh dear. Al Mir, who's shortened to Al, is an Afghan interpreter who served with his unit and has just arrived to start a new life in America. So yeah, they're going to be buddies. Because it is a comedy, it's a sitcom, remember? Yeah. Which you didn't really get from a lot of that description, because it sounded like it was...
didn't sound very funny, did it?
Yeah, this PTSD guy struggling to survive in civilian life kind of thing. Next up, competitive one. This one, Fox has grabbed a pilot commitment for Diversity Hire, a single-camera workplace comedy from the Empire duo of Cameron Johnson and Felicia D. Henderson. Written by Johnson, Diversity Hire is described as an irreverent workplace half-hour that will comedically explore our beliefs about race, class, and gender while pushing the boundaries of political correctness. That wasn't professional and personal. That was personal and political. That's different.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The show centers on Zenzi Baker, a brilliant young African-American programmer whose life is turned upside down when her boss embroils his successful tech company in a publicity nightmare. To save face, Zenzi, a low-level coder, is plucked from obscurity and promoted to Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. Her primary qualification, she's, in quotes, diverse. So they basically said, who's the one person we have on staff who's not a white dude? Oh, yeah, that person. Honestly, that sounds like a fine idea for comedy. The setup's actually kind of solid for like kind of the situation she's put in. Yeah, and it is worth mentioning that this has a much longer paragraph to explain its premise than most comedies do, and I think
it's quite lengthy. Yeah,
and I think it actually did a good job of saying, "Hey, this is what the premise is." I mean, the comedy may not be good, it may be bad.
It might not be funny, but at least I understand the point.
Yes, so that's on Fox, which actually rounds out the comedies. So we're already on the dramas, but we have a lot of them. This is clearly going to be the main part of the show this week. Yeah, and we are starting with a biggie.
All right.
A biggie. So, have you ever heard of the movie Maniac Cop?
Suppose that again, you cut out for me.
Have you ever heard of the movie Maniac Cop?
Slasher movie?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a slasher movie. Bruce Campbell's in it. You've got I can't remember his name, but there's a guy, this actor with a giant chin who plays the cop in question.
And it's not Bruce Campbell.
No. This makes Bruce Campbell's chin look like an infant. It's a really square jaw. Like, it looks like
that's the one impressive chin.
Like, you'd almost think it was a prosthetic if you didn't just see this guy and be like, oh, this actor's just got a really kind of
this guy up.
Odd face. He passed away like 2 or 3 years ago, I think. I want to say this actor, but anyway, Maniac Cop. It's kind of this goofy idea, but it kind of plays into this idea that people trust a police officer when they pull them over or whatever. But then he's like, oh, he's a maniac and he's killing people, kind of thing. So really kind of B movie from the 80s. I mean, I enjoy it. I've got it on Blu-ray, as you do.
Of course you do.
But like, it's it's not like a high art by any means. So HBO are looking at doing Maniac Cop as a TV show. Okay. And you've not heard about this because you've not smelled at me yet. You have?
I have. I had a particularly good poker face going then.
Oh, well, okay. Fair enough then. I'll just reveal it then. Nicolas Winding Refn is going to be the one doing this. He's been wanting to remake Maniac Cop for years, and now he's going to get to do it as a TV show on HBO. Now, keep in mind, we just had Too Old to Die Young from Amazon, which was like, I was going to say 10 hours. It was more like 14 hours of Refn, because some of those episodes were pretty long.
Completely unrefined Refn as well.
Yes. So HBO is letting him go wild, apparently, on a Maniac Cop series. This makes the first production for a by NWR Originals independent studio, which is an offshoot of his by NWR.com website. So, yeah.
I just suspect HBO are going to rein him in a little bit more than Amazon did.
It does confirm here, though, he is going to direct, which presumably means all of it, because he did all of the other show, so why not?
He is directing all of it.
Yeah. So here we go. Set in Los Angeles, Maniac Cop is told through a kaleidoscope of characters from a cop to a common criminal. A killer in uniform has encaged mayhem upon the streets. Paranoia leads to social disorder as the city wrestles with the mystery of the exterminator in blue. Is he mere mortal or supernatural force? You can watch a trailer of the film for below for the story. Thank you, Deadline. Taking the easy way out there, I think. Yeah. The thought of Refn taking the plot of Maniac Cop and doing it over 10 episodes is like mesmerizingly magical.
I feel like each episode is just one long shot until he kills someone.
It could be that.
From Refn, it could be.
I think HBO will rein him in the sense that I think each episode will be an hour. I don't think they'll let him do the 90-minute episodes and things like that. For at least for the most part. And maybe the finale.
Might let him have one at the start or end.
Yeah, maybe both. Maybe the start and the end. But I think that the actual like shooting style, though, and the way he does things, they might let him go to town on that.
Maybe.
I could see it. But I do think that they'll rein him in so that it'll typically be an hour long and it won't be letting him go nuts.
I will be surprised if they let his silent panning go on for quite as long as it usually does. Because while we like it, it's very extreme.
If HBO don't let him go full Refn, they're cowards. Goddamn cowards.
I think here's the thing. If they don't let him go full Refn, they just got showed up by Amazon, who absolutely
Do you know what I love about this? Do you know what I love about this news? Not only is it because it's like this weird thing where it's like Maniac Cop, what? But like, I love that Refn did a show, and part of me thought, okay, he's going to go back to movies, and there's going to be no more like 10-hour Refn epics. And immediately, here's an announcement for another 10-episode Refn show, and I'm like, you know what? Hell yes. Give me it. If this is where he feels like, you know what? 2-hour movies are too short for him. He needs 10 episodes. He needs 10-hour-long episodes to do it at the very least. Then you know what? Go and flex your muscles in 10 episodes. I love it. Do it again.
Yeah, it's out there, but why not?
I'm all for it. So that'll take us out to something else, which I think is a big deal for some people, although not necessarily for us. And this is the news that the sort of third in a trilogy of shows, which were originally HBO, are now the third one's happening at Apple TV Plus. And this is Spielberg's produced sort of third World War II series, because he did Band of Brothers, and he did The Pacific. And this is kind of the third one, and so they're not like direct sequels or not, but they're spiritual successors in the sense that they're kind of linked. It's called Masters of the Air, and presumably from that title you would guess that it's going to focus largely on the Air Forces and
some plane shenanigans.
Yes. So Spielberg's Amblin Television and Tom Hanks and Gary Goetzman's Playtone have made a deal with Apple for an event-limited series based on Donald L. Miller's book Masters of the Air, America's bomber boys who fought the air war against Nazi Germany. And it is a follow-up to the previous two miniseries. So the book tells the story of an American bomber boys in World War II who brought the war to Hitler's doorstep. It becomes the first series greenlit with Apple serving as the studio as the company is joining major streamers like Netflix and Amazon. So that's an interesting little detail, actually.
Yeah.
Like all the other ones, they've not been the studio making it, they've just been the distributor. They've all just been like other production companies.
Which I think is interesting given how we've heard over the past year or so that they have quite a lot of control over the shows in terms, even down to the writing process. There have been.
That's not uncommon though. Like, it's not uncommon for like networks to be very, even if they're not the ones that are actually producing the show.
No, that's true. But they've felt a lot more. They've felt a lot more hands-on than I would have expected if they weren't producing anything.
They're expecting this to be 8 hours or more in length and will cost about $200 million to produce. So, obviously, yeah, that's a big budget. I mean, sure, 8 episodes is more than a movie, but like $200 million for 8 episodes is still a really high budget for a TV show. They're spending money on this.
Yeah.
So, not particularly my thing immediately. I've not seen the other miniseries. I know the first one's well loved. I've not heard as much about the Pacific, but I know Band of Brothers is.
I've seen an episode or two of Band of Brothers. I mean, but I don't really like war movies that much, so it didn't grab me, which doesn't mean it's bad, but it's not for me.
Yeah. Big get for Apple, I think, though. This.
Yeah, probably.
For a large audience, that's a big get. Before we move on, I will tell you about patreon.com/MailFlixTV, where you can support us in everything we do for $1 per month or more, and you can get some bonuses. You get some deleted like tangents that sometimes we cut out episodes. You get exclusive episodes of some of our movie podcasts and so on and so on. And then there's obviously other things at the higher tiers, such as get your name at the end of the videos and things like that. Next up, horror icon Dario Argento, who you may know as a director of Giallo films, Suspiria, Tenebrae, Burberry Crystal Plumage, a bunch of others. He is going to be working on a TV series, which is an Italian production from Longinus. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation because it's Italian. It's an episodic drama created by Argento. It's been announced by Italian firms Publesby and Verdiana Bixio. And again, I'm probably butchering these pronunciations because they're in Italian. So they're working on this. A lot has been revealed about the series, but the producers are promising a mysterious murders, suspense, unexpected revelations, esoteric elements, and ancient enigmas. And an international thriller suspended between reality and the supernatural, set among the French Alps of Grenoble and Siena during the Paleo.
Yeah.
Anyway, actually, it explains it in the next paragraph.
I was going to say, because that didn't really give me anything.
The celebrated Palio is a horse race held twice each year in the Tuscan city of Siena. 10 horses and riders, bareback and dressed in different colours, represent 10 of the 17 Contrad or city awards.
What about the other 7?
They're not worthy. Maybe there's like tryouts. Maybe like only 10 make it. Maybe there's like a little qualifier and 7 get booted out. I don't know.
Could be.
How would I know that? It sounds like it may be a Giallo TV show, to be honest.
Yeah.
It sounds like it might be a Giallo TV show. It doesn't mention if he's going to direct any of it. I don't know. It is pretty old now. I don't know to what extent he'd wanted this.
It's more in that style.
Yes. But it's interesting. As a horror fan, I'm intrigued, if nothing else. We'll see if when and where this ends up, and
probably a while from now, but it'll pop up at one Halloween, I'm sure.
No, I mean, where's it going to end up? Elsewhere outside Italy, like where's it going to?
Oh, sure, yeah. It's got enough of a name behind it that it'll find distribution, I'm sure. Likely Netflix.
So next up, 1212 Entertainment, who worked on Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, has acquired the screen rights to a New York Times bestseller young adult novel called House of Salt and Sorrows, and is planning to develop it into a TV show. Joshua Long and Roberto Grande will develop the series. Pardon me. The debut novel by Erin A. Craig is a gothic twist on a classic grim fairy tale. The 12 Dancing Princesses filled out into a fantastical young adult horror and romance. The story follows a royal family of 12 sisters who are transported every night into an enchanted world of the gods, filled with lavish costume balls and endless celebrations. When another of their kin dies mysteriously, the remaining sisters must band together and unravel the ancient curse on their family while defying their powerful father and cunning stepmother by continuing to explore the increasingly perilous playground of the gods for answers. I'll be honest, about a third into that, I stopped really paying attention to what I was saying, and I was just saying words and not really taking any of it in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Towards the end, that sounded borderline like it was trying to do personal and professional, or at least in the way your inflection was.
I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention to what I was reading. I was just saying the words.
Autopilot went into that kind of speech pattern. It was when you were saying towards the end, they'll have to find out what happened, while also dealing with the father's politics or whatever it was. It was the way it sounded came across as borderline.
Yeah, I cannot be less interested. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So, for ABC Signatures, a competitive situation with multiple bidders. So, ABC Signature, which is obviously a division of Disney TV Studios, has acquired the rights to develop The Tiger's Wife from author T. Obrecht's best-selling new novel, Inland, for TV. The project will be executive produced by Drew Goddard, which is an interesting name to pop up.
Yeah, I bet you wish you hadn't wasted Riley earlier.
What do you mean wasted? I can do it more than once. There's no rule that says I can only do it once.
You can't without demeaning it.
Drew Goddard, of course, worked on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as well as directing Cabin in the Woods and the Bad Times at the El Royale, which I enjoyed. So, yes, Drew Goddard and Sarah Esberg under Goddard's Goddard Textiles banner are going to be producing. Yeah, it's been obviously he's been on TV. He did work on Daredevil back when that was a thing. I think technically he was
season 1, right?
Yeah, I think he was technically credited for Defenders. I'm not sure how much he actually had to do with that though. In the final product.
Was credited in Defenders?
I think
was it more just because of he brought Daredevil to screen?
It just says he was executive producer here. I assume it didn't mean much. It didn't mean much. So yeah, he's under a big deal at ABC Studios to develop shows, and yeah, so. Published by Random House on August 13th, Inland tells the story of two extraordinary lives that collide in the lawless, drought-ridden lands of the Arizona Territory in 1893. Nora is an unflinching frontierswoman awaiting the return of the men in her life. Her husband, a newspaper man who has gone in search of water for the parched household, and her elder sons who have vanished after an explosive argument. Nora is biding her time and enjoying her thirst. Connor, be professional, Jesus Christ.
I'm trying.
With her youngest son, who is convinced that a mysterious beast is stalking the land around their home, and her husband's 17-year-old cousin. What?
I got more interesting then.
Don't interrupt me.
Fine. Continue.
I lost track of what I was saying because you were rude. Shut up. No hiccuping, no speaking. Quiet.
I can only promise one of those things.
Who is convinced that a mysterious beast is stalking the land around their home, and her husband's 17-year-old cousin who communes with spirits. Lurie is an immigrant, a man born under Ottoman rule who comes to America as a child, and a former outlaw who is haunted by ghosts. He sees lost souls who want something from him, and he finds reprieve from their longing and unexpected companion who inspires a momentous expedition across the West. So I got a bit more supernatural as it went on there with
It started off like, okay, we're doing like a western, and then it became beasts and spirits.
Yes, and worth mentioning, this is ABC Signature Studios. This is not necessarily for the network ABC. That is, I think, an important thing.
It does not sound like an ABC show.
It doesn't. This sounds like it's going to be something on cable or streaming service. So very much worth mentioning this. Also worth mentioning, the deal that he has with ABC Studios actually was originally a Fox deal, but since Disney got Fox, it migrated.
They got him too.
They got him too. So yeah, honestly, I mean, this concept sounds okay. It's not setting my bells on fire, but Drew Goddard's a name is setting me a bit more on fire. So
yeah, I think the concept was interesting enough. I think if we'd had a firmer idea of a network or where this was going to land, would give us a lot more on the tone. Like we said this doesn't sound like an ABC project, and it definitely doesn't. If you told me this was a Hulu thing, maybe I'd be like, okay, I can see it. I can kind of get a picture of what this looks like on Hulu. So yeah, I think where this lands is going to be very indicative of what to expect. Yeah.
Next up, David Oyelowo. I can't say his goddamn name. David Oyelowo. Well, that was close. I'm getting there. Anyway, from Selma. Dude from Selma. He's going to headline a show called The President is Missing. It's a Showtime drama adaptation of the novel by President Bill Clinton and James Patterson. I actually just double checked that I was reading that right, that the president wrote this.
I remember hearing about this before because we were debating how much writing did he actually do.
Yeah. Christopher McQuarrie and Anthony Peckham are producing. So the project's been greenlit and is in pre-production, scheduled to shoot in 2020. So, and the president is missing a powerless and politically aimless vice president, played by Oyelowo. That wasn't bad. I'm getting closer. I think I'm getting
better
closer.
with every attempt.
Unexpectedly becomes president halfway into his administration's first term, despite his every wish to the contrary. He walks right into a secret, world-threatening crisis, both inside and outside the White House. Attacked by friends and enemies alike, with scandal and conspiracy swirling around him, he is confronted with a terrible choice. Keep his head down, toe the party line and survive, or act as a stubborn, late-developing conscience and take a stand. The series is based on a bestseller by Clinton and Patterson, which was the #1 novel of 2018 and sold on 2.3 million copies in North America alone. What's funny is when I read it was written partly by a former president, I thought, oh, is it based on something that happened? And I started reading, I was like, oh no, this is just complete fiction. Okay, yeah. This is a complete fictional thing. Interesting.
Yeah. What's interesting is from what I know, Patterson barely even writes all his own books himself. He has some ghostwriters because he pumps out that many. So I wonder if how much either of them actually worked on this one. It's quite amusing.
Yeah, I know. I'd never heard of it. This is news to me.
Yeah, I'm sure we've spoken about this before, but maybe it wasn't you. I don't know. I'm sure it was, but who knows?
I don't remember it, but hey, I remember most of the things we talk about, and you remember almost none of them. So,
like I said, it could have been somewhere else entirely. I spoke with someone about this. I just assumed it was you. I'm
taking the high ground on this. Next up, filmmaker Charlie Mathau, I think I'm pronouncing that right, has already what was he doing here? He's
keep that high ground going.
He's getting Freaky Deaky done. What?
Sorry, do you want to repeat that sentence?
Or he did Freaky Deaky.
Okay.
He adapted a thing. Yes. He's actually back to do another Freaky Deaky type thing. That's another book from the same author, right? Okay, so he did it. He adapted a book called Freaky Deaky.
Are you familiar with the Freaky Deaky?
No, I'm not. Which is why I'm so confused reading this because I don't know what Freaky Deaky is.
I'm so glad it's not just me.
But yes, author T.D. Risner's Freaky Deaky High.
Freaky Deaky.
Right, and this is why I'm also confused, is because he did something from Freaky Deaky, and then the new thing's Freaky Deaky High. So I think it's either set in the same universe or at least spiritually connected.
Sure.
Right. Oh no, here we go. Well, completely unrelated.
Ignore everything you just said.
To Leonard's novel, which dealt with a pair of 60s bomb-making radicals turned capitalists, Freaky Deaky High is set in the flyover state middle-class town of Bedford. Each book deals with a different student at the same high school, Franklin Delano High, and the paranormal occurrences set in their life. Mattel acquired all of Risner's novels in the Freaky Deaky series, Killer Ride, Student Boy, Photobomb. So Freaky Deaky High is a specific series, even though it shares a name with another thing that's unrelated, by the same author.
By the same... Why would you do that?
That's weird. And the upcoming one's called The Locker, so there's going to be a fourth, right? So the plan is to mount...
The Locker.
Yes. The plan is to mount a TV series of which Risner has already finished the pilot script based on Killer Ride. The project is being billed as a Black Mirror, but set at the same high school. So it's a kind of an anthology, but they're all set in the same school. So different characters from the same school, which is kind of a neat... Because you could probably have cameos of different, the other show episodes' characters coming in and out.
Yeah. No reason why not.
So... with each episode in regards to its protag, I hate that. Don't shorten it.
Oh, it's not that long a word.
Protagonist, running the social gamut of freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, rich kid, poor kid, model, cast out, tech head, and more. Episodes won't end with guy gets girl. If that happens, the girl is not of this world, possibly dead, and the guy is living in a simulation. So, okay, they're trying to tell me what the tone of this is, what the sort of cynical Black Mirror-esque tone is.
Yeah. I thought they're trying a little bit too hard to tell me what it is.
Very possibly. Very possibly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will try anything called Freaky Deaky High. I'll absolutely do that.
They've got to keep that name.
Yes. So the question is, though, like, I mean, if there's only 4 books, and each book is each episode of the book, or are they going to do like arcs? Like, we're going to get like a 3-episode arc for the first one, like Killer Raid, kind of thing.
They could do, yeah.
You know, well,
or they could just go off on their own, be like, "Hey,
True.
this is a great starting point. We like the concept. We'll probably adapt these stories for episodes, but we're going to also just do our own shit."
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Sense.
So that's Freaky Deaky High. Next
I'll
up,
remember that one. I can tell you that.
So Jared Padalecki is officially getting a Walker Texas Ranger reboot on the CW. He's going to play the title character. The show is just called Walker this time, unless they change their minds later.
Is he not bored of the CW?
They pay him well, apparently. I think that's what it is.
He clearly just likes shooting close to home.
Yes. So yeah, he's going to be a producer, I think, as well, because he's probably a big enough of a hot shot.
Is that stage of his career?
Yeah. So, like the original series created by Albert S. Rudy and Leslie Grief, the reboot in which Walker is getting a female partner, that's an interesting twist on it, I suppose, will explore more family and rediscovering our lost common ground. It centers on Cordell Walker, played by Padalecki, a widower and father of 2 in his own... Do you know what I love? I love that when he was cast in Supernatural, which is, ending right before this starts, he was the young, 23-year-old, right out of college heartthrob, and now his very next show, as soon as that show ends, he is now a father of 2 who's got a dead wife.
Classic CW.
That's just how long Supernatural went, is that he's now at that age.
It's goddamn impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to be fair, by most accounts, didn't get terrible.
Yeah, I mean, everyone agrees it sort of dipped after season 5 because that's where the show's story really ended, but no one thinks it's been terrible since then. It's just not as...
Yeah, no, everyone thinks, it's perfectly watchable and decent. I've never heard anyone go, no, I got really shit after 8 seasons.
Bit repetitive maybe, but,
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, so he's got his own moral code. He returns home to Austin after being undercover for 2 years, only to discover that there's harder work to be done at home. He'll attempt to reconnect with his children, navigate clashes with his conservative family, and find unexpected common ground with his new partner, one of the first women in Texas Rangers history, while growing increasingly suspicious about the circumstances surrounding his wife's death. I would say personal and professional was in there. He talked about being at home and then dealing with his new partner. I would say
all right.
That's personal and professional.
I've got a different whiskey this week, actually. Well, the other one's down here somewhere, but this one was closer, so I'm gonna drink this one instead.
I don't care. Just drink.
The people might be interested.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we're on actual ABC. To put that in perspective, ABC is given a pilot commitment to 90s pop star. Wait, it's called 90s pop star. It is called 90s pop star.
I'm in.
I thought that was describing it before the title.
I just want to give some context for why I said that so quickly. Right now, I am listening to a Brexit disco album. So, yeah, carry on.
It is a drama based on This Is Us star Mandy Moore's musical childhood. It's interesting. Okay. So it's coming from writer Amanda Lasher from the Bold Type. And Moore is set to executive produce alongside This Is Us co-showrunners Isaac Aptaker and Elizabeth Berger. So, written by Lasher, 90s pop star revolves around a family from small-town Florida who must adapt their extraordinary new reality when their teenage daughter goes from aspiring singer to pop superstar practically overnight.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot to go on. You can say I see this on ABC.
Yeah, I can.
You kind of see it. But speaking of ABC, they've put together development for Adversaries, a drama that centers on a female leader of a Navy's Top Gun fighter pilot school in Key West. The series comes from networks Good Doctor Star, co-executive producer Freddie Highmore, and his Alfrenzo Pictures and Sony TV. Written by Sean Finnegan. Where I got Finnegan from? Sean Finnegan and Katie J. Stone and David Sach. Adversary centers on Lara Breyer, a trailblazing fighter pilot who takes charge of the Navy's most elite flight school in Key West. But training Top Gun pilots in supersonic aerial combat is nothing compared to the challenges she'll face on the ground. From navigating life as a newly single working mom to breaking through the glass ceiling in a field of male-dominated, so male-dominated that is 29, only 10% of all naval pilots are women. That was definitely personal and professional life.
That was classic personal.
That was That was very, very personal and professional.
Didn't even need to finish the sentence to know. Yep, this one counts.
You were diving straight in there. So, ABC, a lot of ABC stuff this week for some reason. They've put in development a pilot, Bridge and Tunnel, a soapy one-hour drama that hails from Famous in Love and Stargirl executive producer Melissa Carter. So we actually have someone from Stargirl on this.
Thrilling. That makes me excited for the Stargirl.
Hey, Jeff Johns is on it as well.
That's true.
There is.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit excited for Stargirl.
Yeah. The plot for the aspirational series, revolves around three scrappy blue-collar best friends who will do anything to realize their dreams of becoming Manhattan's top high-end realtors, all while fighting for each other as the ups and downs of love, loss, and rivalry alter their lives forever. Realtors and love, loss, and rivalry, that is totally personal and professional.
Oh, ABC, I hate you.
Drink, ginger, drink.
I might as well just leave the damn thing unscrewed.
Yeah, drink, ginger, drink. That is the...
That's how cheap this is. It's a screw cap and not a cork. Okay.
Yeah. ABC has given a poop pilot commitment to Homicide Special, a crime drama from the resident co-creator, executive producer Amy Holden Jones, and the series co-executive producer Andrew Chapman. It comes from 20th Century Fox TV.
Who's the one drinking here?
Look, I'm reading a lot of crap, right? You read a lot of crap, eventually it all starts to blur together, and you just kind of start going through it so quickly, you start messing up words. Written by Holden Jones and Chapman, Homicide Special is set inside the Homicide Special Division of Philadelphia PD.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It follows two young, recently promoted female detectives and beat cop as they take on entrenched and corrupt systems at an inner city precinct. The end.
But that's the end. Not all while.
No personal part.
Oh, pleasantly surprised.
We're moving over to NBC. Has put in development a show called Wildfire, a drama from Bad Teacher creator Hilary Winston and Sony Pictures TV. Written and executive produced by Winston, Wildfire is timely given that we are at the height of the California wildfire season, and literally just today there was news of a wildfire.
Was pretty terrible today. Yeah.
Wildfire season and crews in Northern California are currently battling a blaze. So that's actually news probably came from today because they actually kind of mentioned it. Echoing last fall's devastating Paradise Fire in Winston's Wildfire, when a devastating wildfire hits the idyllic community of Whispering Bells, California. Some are spared, others are not. The real danger, however, lies in the small town's secret smoldering just below the surface.
Of course it does.
Wildfire is not professional, but that sounded a lot like professional and personal lives in the way it phrased it.
It really did.
It was like, here's the fire, but also their personal lives.
They just can't get away from that sentence structure, can they?
If they said that the main character was a firefighter, I'd have argued it was, but there wasn't. They've not said that.
No, it wasn't. Not said yet.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me if it ended up being that, mind you. But like,
yeah.
Still at NBC. Yes.
Are we still at NBC?
Yes. Bad Blood. It's coming from the trio who worked on The Village at NBC.
I'm assuming this isn't the Taylor Swift song.
Doubtful. No. So the brothers crime drama hails from The Village creator, executive producer Mike Daniels, executive producer Jessica Rhodes, and writer supervising producer Wolf Coleman. So they all worked on The Village, and they're doing a new show called Bad Blood. It's in development at NBC. Written by Daniels and Coleman, in Bad Blood, when a murder investigation leads an upstanding detective deep into the life of a criminal brother he never knew he had. It's already so tropey. Questions of fate and identity underscore a story that unravels on both sides of the law. While one brother struggles to go straight and the other increasingly finds himself with a foot in two worlds, cracking cases, harbouring secrets, and treading the slippery moral slope of putting blood before blue. Oh, that's close.
I don't know.
That is so close.
Oh, what do you think?
Screw it. Drink ginger. Maybe just build down the bottle at the start of the show from future. I mean,
Jesus Christ, it's a big bottle. There's like, look how much is left of this bottle.
Is that a lot to drink in one night? I don't drink. I don't know what a lot is.
For a 40% spirit, yeah. If for a pint of 4% beer, no.
Is that why you drink beer when you just want to drink all night, because it's a lot lighter than other stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. Because you could drink, and I mean, depend on the person, anything between 4 and 12 pints.
You want a low maintained buzz consistently throughout the night, as opposed to
like you'll get more buzzed as you go on through the night, but more, you start drinking at 6 or 7 o'clock. You want to drink till 1 in the morning. A pint lasts you anywhere between 45 minutes an hour on a standard basis.
Or if you're Connor, you start about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hey, only when I'm not in work. That's fine.
Next up, Fox has nabbed an FBI agent's drama from the duo from The Resident, who are...
This is sounding very thrilling.
They've given a script commitment with substantial penalty. So not even just a penalty, it's a substantial penalty. So drama revolving around female FBI agents from the Resident supervising producer Jen Klein and executive producer showrunner Todd Harthan. So where are we here? The untitled FBI Women Project is a fast-paced, character-driven drama centering on 4 female FBI agents in the Manhattan field office, inspired by journalist and author Doug Stanton's interviews of women in law enforcement. Get the bottle ready. These women juggle complicated personal lives while playing at the top of their professional game.
They've got it. They've got the actual phrase.
They got the actual words. Their friendship is a source of strength and camaraderie as they work together on a high-stakes cases, whilst also navigating dangerously messy politics of one of the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world.
I've just kind of created a new rule on the spot. Double drink for the actual words.
The actual word. Okay, so the actual wording is now word double.
Yeah, why not? Because otherwise, it's got to be special, hasn't it? We've got to celebrate somehow.
That takes us on to the final story.
Oh, thank God.
Which is CBS Studios, not necessarily CBS themselves.
Okay, so I don't need to necessarily take the lid off the bowl.
And we do have a good actor here. Jeff Daniels has been cast in this. He's going to star as FBI Director James Comey in a 4-hour CBS Studios event miniseries based on a higher loyalty, truth, lies, and leadership. Comey's New York Times #1 best-selling book. He is the 7th director of the FBI. Comey served from 2013 to 2017, which must be a short reign if we're only on the 7th at that point.
I was just thinking, I'm familiar with who he is, but I was like, really? He's only the 7th?
So they're making a story based on this, and it's going to be... so he was the 7th FBI director, and he played a role in helping change the Bush administration's policies on torture and electronic surveillance, to overseeing the Hillary Clinton email investigation, as well as possible ties between the Trump campaign and Russia. And before that, his tenure as a prosecutor of terrorists, mobsters, and Martha Stewart. They wanted to put that at the end as a little joke, didn't they?
Yeah.
Of course, a big part of the narrative and focus of the many his tested relationship and his eventual firing by President Donald Trump. So they're doing a miniseries based on this. 4 hours, which I would guess is 4 episodes.
Probably, yeah.
So, especially if it ends up on a cable. If it ends up on a network,
this feels like a HBO mini.
I could see it ending up on like Showtime or something like that. Yeah,
any of these kind of places.
So yeah, that was the last news story of the week. So we are actually wrapped up.
Cool.
So there we go. So at this point in the show, we usually tell you what's been happening and what TV reviews have been going up. Of course, Mr. Robot came back since last news episode, and that was delightful. And we talked about that for about an hour.
I'm not gonna lie, everything in the world is better because Mr. Robot is back.
Yep, back for its final season, so we're cherishing every moment. So you can expect reviews of that to go up as quickly as we humanly possibly can on sometime on Mondays, because it airs on Sunday nights. So look forward to that again on Monday. And I can tell you that we did more of Raising Dion. Episode 3 just went up, And we actually have just recorded episode 4, although it is worth mentioning that episode 4 onwards will only be on the audio podcast feed. Episode 3 was the last one on YouTube. That's something that we mentioned a while ago, but I'll just reiterate here. Sometimes with TV shows, if they're getting good audio numbers, but YouTube, they aren't doing so hot, but they're still worth doing, and we want to do the shows, we'll do them just as an audio podcast. So there's always links to the audio feeds in the descriptions for the various shows. You can find links on the Patreon page as well. I'll just mention that again, patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. So you can find all those things easy enough if you want to keep getting our Reason Dion reviews. But so that's still coming. And obviously we had the finale of Our Boys was this week. The review's not up yet because we had to push the recording, me and Tara, but that is coming up soon. Of course, Gemstones went up. The finale of that is next week. So those things are just both wrapping up kind of back to back. So that's that. And then, of course, we had the Breaking Bad movie on Netflix, which is relevant because it's basically a coda to the entire Breaking Bad show. So
yes, and you forgot the biggest thing that happened this week.
What's the biggest thing that happened this week?
Surprise return of television from the multiverse.
Oh yes, of course. We reviewed the DC shows due to popular demand.
Yeah.
We
surprise return even to us.
We did shake it up a little bit. We're not making it as heavy content wise, just to make it more feasible. But if you want us to talk about the CW shows and Crisis when it comes, then we still have that show there for you to enjoy.
Batwoman did get its own video first.
Yes, because that was new this week. Of course, if
you only care about Batwoman, we did review that.
But
from now on, it'll just be rolled into television like this.
Yes. So that is that. Carter, have you got the schedule up?
I do.
Is there any new TV content next week that we should be making them aware of?
No. The only thing I will say is I'm not here next Friday. So whether there is a news episode or not is kind of up to you.
Just be me.
If anything.
Just be me. Yeah. I'll if there is going to be news, it'll just be me. But yes,
I'm away for a week, so
yes, it does mean that there's going to be a couple of reviews after Connor's away for that week. That will just be me. So Mr. Robot will just be me that week. But that's just something we can't avoid, and that's just how it's going to be. So, but otherwise though, just as we said, check us out on Twitter at mail_fuzz. You can of course go to Patreon and support everything we do and keep all the content coming. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have we got any vanilla?